Hello friends, in this video we are going to have a look at some of the text processing or manipulating tools which are available in Linux, and specifically we'll be talking about paste, join, expand and unexpand. And instead of explaining me the functionality of these commands onto this whiteboard, how about we just drop right into the terminal. So let's say I'm here on the terminal and I'm in my home directory, and in home directory I'm in I'm in directory lpic1. So if I press or type in ls, I see that we have got two files, and if you want to see the contents of each file, I can type in cat file1 and likewise cat file2. So nothing in there. This is just a random text that I've typed in, that this first file, it has nothing but some random text, and this second file also filled up with some random text and with some changes. So if I type in cat and file1 and then file2, then what we will get is that first all the contents of file1 are printed line by line starting from the first character, and then the contents of the second line are printed and they are joined together, which is like this. We can also, of course, take this output and put it in a different file by using the redirection switch. Now what paste does is, let's say if I type in paste and give the name of any of the file, like maybe file1, and I press enter, then it is the same output as it would be displayed in case of cat command. But by virtue of the definition of paste, if I do a man of paste command, it says that write lines consisting of subsequently corresponding lines from blah 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 with no file or this. So in essence, it means that it will print out contents of files separated by tabs. So maybe it is a way of expressing that it will print out the files in shape of columns. So let's see, if I type in, let's say, paste and file1, we see that this is the output that we get, but I can make it appear in a one line by typing in -s or like in serial. So this is the output that we get, and in between we get tab. So tab here and tab here, and also, so this the space, this is not the tab. But anyway, if I also type in, let's say I want that instead of this default, which is tab, it should put in some delimiting character. Maybe that delimiting character is, let's say, maybe full colon or maybe simple comma. So let's see what does it show now. Now we see that instead of tabs or the default delimiting character, now we have comma in between. Now to put in two files, which is like file1 and file2, and let's just remove this -s flag and put in file1 and file2, so that files are printed side by side. Each line is printed side by side, but limited or delimited by this comma character. So I press enter, and now we see that this says that this is the first file, then we have comma, and this is the second file, it has nothing, and then comma, and so on and so forth. So in essence, just a handy tool to join our files, and it's not that just we can join just two files, we can also put in multiple files and join them together by putting their contents as per our own desires. For example, if we want to put the contents in a columnized way, where we have got like one column here, then contents of first file goes down below, and in front of that first column we have contents from the second file, and then in front of the second column we have contents from the third file. So we can make a file where we can put in name of the countries, then maybe capital of the countries, then their population, their per capita income, and other such information which would make our file more useful and readable for a common person, and add value to its contents. This join command also works in the same way more or less as the paste command, that it joins the two files, but it does so by considering the common field in the two files, and then based on that field it joins the two files contents side by side. So we can say that join is a simple tool for customized database management. Let me clear the output of this terminal and let's see how we can use the join command. So here I am at my Ubuntu terminal, and if I type in, let's say, ls, then we have got 4 files in there, file1, 2, join1 and join2, and let's just see the contents of join1 and join2. If I type in join1 and do a cat, it has got one column with A, B, C, D, E, second column with numbers, and third column with country names. And if I type in join2 and do a concatenate on that file, then we see that it has got 6 rows starting with numbers, then alphabets, and then the city names. Now again, cat will do the concatenation of the two files, first putting in the contents of one file and the other. The join function will perform on the common fields. Now let's say if I type in join and then name of file number 1 and then name of file number 2, and if I press enter, then we see that we have got nothing in the output. And the reason is that as soon as join function starts to perform joining the files, it looks at the starting fields or the starting columns of each file to find the matching pattern based on which it will join the two files. Now in this case there is none, because the first column, in this case we are starting with A, B, C, D, E, but in the next file we are starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So essentially they are quite different. Likewise, second column in this file is numbers, while in this case it is these are letters. And obviously third column is quite different, as these are the countries and these are the cities. So in this scenario what I can do is that I can put some switches for join command so that it knows that which columns to select as the base or the criteria for joining the two files. So I can put in -1, that it should select from file number 1, then column number 1, then I put in -2, which signifies file number 2, and from this file number 2 select column number 2. So my idea is that I want to join the two files based on these letters A, B, C, D, E, which I have defined over here with these switches. Now if I press enter now, we see that this join command has indeed joined the two files based on the characters A, B, C, D, E, and then it has put the contents of the two files in parallel. If I want to print out all the characters or maybe put the output in a different file, because you see at the moment what it has done is that it simply joined the two files which had common elements based on the common selection criteria. Like the output does not have this line, which is F. So I can make it print that as well by putting in a flag -A and then the name of the file or the number of the file, I should say. So the file number is 2, starting from left and then going towards the right. So second file is containing letters or fields which are more than the first file. So I type in 2, and if I press enter now, we see that now it has printed those unmatched lines as well. So really a cool way, this join commands on which we can combine the files in parallel using common fields, and then we can do some processing with it for our database purposes. Now let me show you the functionality of expand and unexpand and what does it really do. Let me clear the terminal. So we are here with a clean slate, and let me type in cat and the file which is long file. Let's just concatenate the contents of this long file. Now this is a file which is just having one single line, and it says that this is a long tabbed file. And if I put in my cursor over here and I try to select this space, then you see this is not a space, this is tabbed because it is selecting multiple spaces at one time. This one is also tabbed and this one is space, I believe, you see, but after this is tab. It is not selecting spaces one at a time, but rather selecting all this space once, and then this is the space over here. So this is tabbed, this is space, and likewise this is also tabbed, and this is space, and this is also tabbed. So what happens is that some programs, they do not cope up with tabbed spaces, or some have different tabbed spaces defined. So for example, over here we can see that this one is around 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters long, but other processors, text processors might have 4 or 3 spaces, or maybe more than 6 characters. So what Expand does is that it changes these tabbed spaces into simple spaces. And what I mean by that is, if I type in, let's say, expand, and then the name of the file, which is long file, and if I press enter now, we see that essentially the output of the file or output of the command looks the same as that of the original file. But believe me, it has changed as far as blank spaces are concerned. Earlier it was tab over here, and if I had tried to select this space one character at a time, I could not. But now I can do that. If I try to select this one character, you see I have selected one character, then second, then third, then fourth, then fifth, and then sixth, and then seventh, afterwards 8 as well. So 8 spaces in one tab on this machine or on this processor, and then I've got one space over here. Similarly, if I come over here, the tab space, which was earlier like this one, now it has been replaced with 2 blank space characters, as we can see like here. Similarly, on this space we had tabbed earlier, but now this is also has got multiple spaces. So it's just that some processors, text processor, they do not cope up with these tab spaces, so we can change them into single spaces. And of course we can take the output of this command and redirect it into a file, maybe call it untabbed, and that's done. Now to make it unexpand, like the file has got now multiple spaces in between, but we want that those spaces should be converted with tabs. We can do that by using the command unexpand and then name of the file, which is long file. Now if I press enter over here, which is like this, then we see that this has been converted to tab space. This was already one space, so we cannot really judge whether it has been converted or not. But if I come over here, we see that this has also been converted to tab space, and similarly this one has also been converted to tab space. Sometimes in earlier versions of Unexpand, what happened was that only the first space, which is like over here, it is converted to tabbed, and other spaces are left as untabbed. So in that case, we needed to use the switch -a or the flag -a to convert all the spaces into tabbed spaces. So that's all there is to it as far as basic functionality of paste and join are concerned. How we can, based on certain fields, we can use the join command to make the text comparable, or put it into columns, into nice columns, so that we can use it in some our basic database functionality. We have also seen the functionality of expand and unexpand to make our text files processable by using certain programs which do not support tab spaces. So that's all there is to it. I hope you have learned from this video, and I would like to thank you for viewing.